Let us know when you're.
Okay. Now we are convening. Okay, welcome to ECD. We're in room 423, 10 a.m. It's January 30th. Okay, so in order to allow as many people as possible to testify, there will be we're not gonna have a time limit. We haven't had, anyways, moving on to the next one. Morning hearings must adjourn prior to the noon floor session. So all testifiers may not have the opportunity to testify. In that event, please know that your written testimony will be considered by the committee. If you're on Zoom, please keep yourself muted and your video off while waiting to testify and after your testimony is complete. The Zoom chat function will allow you to chat with the technical staff only. Use the chat only for technical issues. If you're disconnected unexpectedly, you may attempt to rejoin the meeting. If disconnected while presenting testimony, you may be allowed to continue if time permits. Please note that the House is not responsible for any bad internet connections on the testifier's end. And in the event of a network failure, it may be necessary to reschedule the hearing or schedule a meeting for decision making. In that case, an appropriate notice will be posted. Please avoid using any trademarked or copyrighted images, and please refrain from profanity or uncivil behavior. Such behavior may be grounds for removal from the hearing without the ability to rejoin. And I should also mention that we have a new microphone system which is very sensitive and is sort of omnidirectional. Okay, so please be aware of the things that you're whispering to your friends and colleagues, especially if it's not nice. Okay, but we're going to begin first with HB 1829 relating to marine affairs, and our first testifier is Mary Alice Evans, Director of the Office of Planning. Is anyone else from the Office of Planning joining us? Okay, we'll move on then to Wendy Gady from Agribusiness Development Corporation.
Mark Takamoto, here is for the director. We stand on our written testimony.
Okay, thank you. We have testimony from Nelha, from Sabatier, from Laurent Sabatier, the Deputy Director.
Aloha, we stand on our written testimony. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have Gabriel Hanohano from Hawaii Pacific Drone Solutions. Move on to HTDC, Trung Lam.
Aloha, Chair Iligan, Vice Chair Hasti, members of the committee. HTDC stands on our written testimony, but I'm very excited as this is my first hearing in my new role as HTDC Executive Director, and there's a lot of folks in the Ocean Committee who are very happy to testify, so I would like to give them the time to speak. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. Pacific Economics, in support?
Yeah, I stand in support.
Okay. Anthony John Escasa from Pacific Impact Zone. Jim Wyban from High Plan. We also have testimony from Feng Yang, Small Kind Farm, Nicholas Alm from Hawaii Ocean Power Solutions LLC, Grant Takara from GT Scientific, Chinoa Farnsworth from Blue Startups, Ronald Tardif from 1000 Ocean Startups, Noah Pentakovic from Pohonu, Gregory Wong from Hawaii Home LLC, Duncan Lajowski from Hawaii Ocean Power Solutions, and then I think we have Johnny Chenkamne, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, from Builders DC.
Yes, sir. Stand by our written.
Okay, how do I pronounce your name properly?
Chantamani.
Okay, my apologies. Thank you. Neil Anthony Sims from Ocean Era, also in support. Kelsey Kim from Havoc AI in support. Veronica Rocha from Essential Leap in support. And then I think we already have Nelhan, this is twice. Grace Iwashita from Wine King Candies in support. We have Purdy Cole Limited in support. Charna Ray Naiole in support. Forrest Frizzell in support as an individual. George Yarbrough in support. Brennan Yamamoto in support. Doreen Wong.
Aloha. I am Dory Wong and I stand in support of the Senate bill for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Natalie Piper in support.
Morning, I stand in support of this bill and stand by my written.
Thank you. We also had testimony from Charlie Field in support. Jimmy Freese in support.
Yeah, in support, stand by my written testimony.
Okay, thank you. Valerie Harmon in support and Meredith Welch in support. Would anyone else like to testify on this measure? Please introduce yourself.
Hi. All for hearing this measure today. My name is Kieran DeFranco, and I'm testifying in support of HB 1829 as a resident of Hawaii and a director at the Purple Mai'a Foundation. I strongly support this bill, which establishes an Office of Marine Affairs and a Marine Affairs Coordinator under HDDC. By creating a dedicated office and leadership role focused on marine affairs, this measure will help strengthen Hawaii's capacity to steward our oceans in a way that reflects both our local needs, the urgent challenges facing marine ecosystems. Establishing this office recognizes that our economy, culture, and well-being are deeply rooted in healthy oceans, marine resources, and aloha aina. For organizations like Purple Mai'a Foundation, which are working on ocean-related innovation, sustainability, and regenerative economic practices, having an integrated marine affairs structure at the state level means better coordination, cleaner strategic vision, and stronger opportunities for collaboration between government, community partners, and Native Hawaiian practitioners. This will help ensure that policy and investment decisions about our surrounding oceans are guided by expertise, community input, and long-term stewardship values. I urge you to support this bill. Mahalo nui.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to testify on this measure?
I know I mentioned earlier.
Aloha everyone. Mahalo to the chair, Iligan, and vice chair, Hussey, for being here today. My name is Doreen Wong. I've been working at the cross-section of technology, innovation, business, and policy. And I sit on different organizations at the global, regional, and also local levels. And to me, I've been helping in support of the ocean tech and innovation ecosystem here to really help shape their blue economy efforts. And why is this bill important? So this bill is one showing that the blue economy is important to Hawaii, especially surrounded by the Pacific Ocean. We have over $10 billion that's contributing to our state's GDP. We also have over 100,000 jobs being supported as well. And so by prioritizing this bill helps to provide the infrastructure and support for an ocean cluster. So one may ask, what is an ocean cluster? So an ocean cluster is a way to bring a collaborative network of governments, academia, entrepreneurs, and communities together to solve important problems, especially with what we saw over the summer with some of the tsunami warnings. And so it's really important for us to have this integrated and public-private sector working together to address these challenges. And so by establishing this Office of Marine Affairs in HCDC, as well as a task force made up of members from across the public and private sector, that will enable us to really help collaborate and meet more on a regular basis to support the ecosystem. That being said, also too, this also helps create and stand a point that the blue economy is a state priority. We already seen this in a lot of other regions, including San Diego, Washington, Alaska, Maine, New England, Florida, and many others as well. And so this helps us to help create that stance and also help shows that our priorities is focused on the blue economy. And so this collaboration is important to me, and would love to see this as, as a younger generation growing up here, would love to help provide jobs and opportunities for others.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, thank you, Chair Ligan and Vice Chair Hussey, for allowing me to give this testimony in support of this bill. My name is Alexi Druin. I represent, I do Blue, program operation for Blue Startups. I'm the assistant director at Hawaii Angel. I'm also an ambassador for Hawaii Tech Week and a supporter of HTDC in general. I'm not an ocean expert or a researcher, but I am an entrepreneur and an investor. And what this means for us specifically at Blue Startups is we are, we've listened to HTDC's recommendation of having these sectors, specifically in space and energy, healthcare, but also ocean. And since we are Blue Startup and it is on brand, we are definitely looking at focusing on energy towards supporting the blue economy. So having a cluster here would be very supportive. We're adding on to our already very successful accelerator program, a 2-week intensive specifically for an ocean track. So that will be our specific initiative to contribute to this initiative and momentum. And as additional information from Hawaii Angels last month, we just closed a round for $1 million for Pacific Hybrid, which is a company out of the Big Island that does ocean tech. And this month we're actually seeing Jimmy. That's another one that potentially we can invest in. So this is how the momentum of having a cluster here can work. So that not only do we have startup companies that we can bring up, but that investors can also support into bringing them to the later stage so that they can create jobs in the economy. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right.
Chair Iligan, Vice Chair Hussey, and members of the committee, I submit this testimony on behalf of AI Fish and strongly support House Bill 1829 related to marine affairs. AI Fish is a Hawaii-based technology company using artificial intelligence-powered computer vision and electronic monitoring systems to support sustainable fisheries management, efficient commercial fishing operations, and marine conservation. We develop and deploy technology that helps fisheries operate more sustainably while improving data collection for science and management. I've spent decades building technology companies here in Hawaii, and I've seen many well-intentioned initiatives come and go, but this one makes sense in a way that others haven't. We're not trying to be the next Silicon Valley. What we are doing is leaning into what Hawaii is actually positioned to lead. Our university is world-class in ocean science. We sit at the center of the largest US exclusive economic zone, and our culture has deep connections to the sea. And there's growing federal investment in marine innovation that Hawaii is well positioned to capture. The foundation is here, and HB 1829 gives us the structure to build on it. Thank you.
Thank you. For the record, what's your name?
Jimmy Freeze.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else would like to testify? Just want to mention that we do have a long agenda for today, so if you do have written testimony that you'd like to stand on, we encourage that. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to our next bill, 1615, relating to HTDC. First up, we have Gabriel Hanohano from Hawaii Pacific Drone Solutions and Support, and then Trung Lam from HTDC. Would you like to speak?
HTDC stands on our written testimony, but got a great ecosystem, and I'm glad they're here to support. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Anthony John Escasa, Pacific Impact Zone in support. Sherry Menor from Chamber of Commerce in person.
Good morning,
Support.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Sherry with the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll stand on our written testimony.
Thank you very much. Okay, we also have Jim Wyban, Feng Yang, Nicholas Ulm, Grant Takara from GT Scientific, Shona Farnsworth from Blue Startups, all in support. Ronald Tardif, Hohonu, Hawaii Ocean Power Solutions, Biohome LLC, Purple Maya Foundation, all in support. Builders VC, Johnny,
We stand by our written testimony. Thank you.
thank you. And then Jimmy Freese in support,
Stand by the testimony.
thank you,
This is extremely helpful for us.
that's great. Kelsey Kim from Havoc AI in support, Ocean Era, Essential Leap, Namaka Algae, Pacific Economics, Hawaiian King Candies, all in support. Pretty Co, Island Princess, Copies of Hawaii, all in support. Let's see. Forrest Frizzell, George Yarborough, Keone DeFranco, Brandon Yamamoto, and all in support. Doreen?
Yeah, I stand by my written testimony in support.
Okay, thank you. And Charlie Field in support. Would anyone else like to testify on this measure? Okay, thank you very much. Now we are on HB 1613 relating to HTDC. We have Zach Hernandez in support via Zoom, I believe.
Present.
Not present, okay. Gabriel Hanohano and Garrett Marrero, all in support. Trung Lam.
HDC stands on this written testimony, and also there's a lot of advanced manufacturing projects happening right now, even as this bill is passing through session. So if you have any questions about it, happy to answer any questions. Mahalo.
Thank you. David Holt, Blue Startups, Coltrane Kubo, Anthony John Escasa, all in support. Sherry Menor.
The chamber stands on this written testimony and the bill said from HTDC.
Okay, thank you. Lauren Zerbal on Zoom.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Alexis Chapman for Hawaii Food Industry Association. We stand on our testimony and support and be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thanks. Michael Bennett from Hawaii Tech Week, Feng Yang, Nicholas Alm, Grant Takara, Shanoa Farnsworth from Blue Startups, all in support. Alexi Drun in support. Would you like to?
Yeah, I stand also in support to that. I also want to say it's a great initiative from a marketing and branding perspective that Hawaii is such a great brand out there that to translate that to our tech industry would be something that would support and elevate the entire ecosystem. Thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you. Nami Kukak from Simone Pietri in support. Johnny from Builders VC.
Yes, we stand by written testimony in support.
Thank you. Valerie Harmon from Namaka Algae, Jennifer DeRose, Charlie Field, all in support. Any other testifiers?
Aloha, my Chair, Vice Chair, Keone DeFranco for the record, on behalf of Purple Maya Foundation. Yeah, we stand in support of HEDC. This measure is an important investment in Hawaii's technology and innovation ecosystem. Advanced manufacturing and cybersecurity are critical to building the diversified economy, creating high-wage jobs, strengthening workforce development across the state. We stand in support.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to testify on this measure? Okay, in that case, we're going to move on to our next bill, HB 1607, related to public procurement. Our first testifier on this, I think, is on Zoom from the Attorney General's office. Excuse me.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Deputy Attorney General, gentleman Charles Lee for the Department of Attorney General. We submitted our written comments for this bill, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Bonnie Kahakui from the State Procurement Office.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Monica, Administrator, State Procurement Office. We stand on the written testimony.
Okay, thank you. Benson Medina from the County of Hawaii Department of Research and Development. In support. Deborah Zeisman from the Office of Economic Revitalization.
Good morning, the Office of Economic Revitalization.
Thank you. Gregory Kim in support via Zoom.
Yes, good morning, Chair and Vice Chair. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'll try to be brief. I'm with the Economic Revitalization Commission of the city and county, and so we submitted testimony on behalf of the commission. So we stand on the testimony. Just wanted to add a few things to add some color. On the question of legality, I didn't have a chance to add to our testimony yet, but I will in the future. It's been litigated in other parts of the country, these preferences, and there is a distinction when the state and the counties are the purchasers of the products and services, and they're given more latitude. For example, SBA programs are an example. Second, I appreciate the procurement office's suggestion that a 5% flat rate. The reason it's graduated is that we feel like the smaller contracts need a little bit more boost, and the dollar amounts would be smaller if they were offered a higher percentage. And I don't think the implementation should be too bad, because if you implement one percentage, then you've got to have some kind of system for tracking that. And then finally, I would say that the additional costs, which we try to balance against the need for competition on cost, is worth the benefit. And I think maybe some number crunching may be in order, but for example, if the state spends an additional $2,000 on a $100,000 contract because of the preference, the state gets $100,000 of revenues that would have been out of state, and you can do the math on that with the tax effects, as well as the job creation. And so we've been working on this at the OER for the last 2 years and done a lot of research. So I'm happy to share that in the future. And I'm a practicing attorney, corporate lawyer. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. Okay. Lauren Zerbel from the Hawaii Food Industry Association.
Good morning again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Alexis Chapman for HFIA. We stand on our testimony and support. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt Perlberg from Holomua Collaborative.
Well, my chair, vice chair, committee members, Matt Perlberg on behalf of Holomua Collaborative, local nonprofit founded to advocate for policies to keep local working families in Hawaii by making sure that they can afford to stay here. We stand on our written testimony and strong support.
Thank you. Sean Lam from HEDC.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. HCDC stands on our written testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have testimony from Kapolei Chamber of Commerce, the Maui Chamber of Commerce, the Title Guarantee of Hawaii, HPM Building Supply in support, as well as Eliza Talbot and Glenn Kagomita. Would anyone else like to testify on this measure? Okay, very good. We're going to move then on to 1772, also relating to procurement. First testifier is Bonnie Kahakui.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, my name is Carrie Shibuya and I'm the current Small Business Procurement Coordinator under the Small Business Assistance Initiative. The State Procurement Office stands on our written testimony, and I'd like to briefly add that over the past year working on the initiative, I've seen firsthand how critical this program is for small businesses at every stage of development. I've connected with entrepreneurs who are just starting out and need basic guidance navigating the procurement system for the first time. At the same time, I've connected with well-established businesses that have the experience and capacity to perform state work, but face challenges competing against large, well-resourced companies. This program helps level the playing field by providing technical assistance, outreach, policy, and ongoing support for these businesses. That is why we strongly support continuing this work through the Small Business Procurement Program. Mahalo, and we're available for questions.
Thank you. Deborah Zeisman from OER.
Good morning. The City and County Office of Evaluation stands on our written testimony and support.
Thank you. Derek Sakaguchi, Native Hawaiian Community Development Corporation in support. Eliza Talbot in support. Gregory Kim on Zoom.
Thank you very much, Chair and Vice Chair and representatives. Strongly support this measure. It's submitted, and we need to place more emphasis on building small business, and we can and should do that. And I think Carrie and her group has done an amazing job, so strongly support this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then Kuloa Robinson in support. Would anyone else like to testify on this measure? Okay, thank you very much. We're going to move then to 1636 related to shopping carts. First, we have Hawaii Food Industry Association.
Good morning again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Alexis Chapman for HFIA. We are in opposition to this measure. I won't go through our whole testimony, but this would mostly negatively impact small, locally owned businesses that are selling food in the urban core. So I think that those are the type of businesses we don't want to be negatively impacting in the economic climate that we have right now. I'd be happy to answer any additional questions about our testimony.
Okay, thank you. Tobi Taniguchi from KTA Superstores. Is KTA here? Okay. And then Dave Erdman from Retail Merchants of Hawaii.
Chair Iligan, Vice Chair Hussey, and members of the committee, aloha and good morning. My name is Dave Erdman, Interim President and CEO for Retail Merchants of Hawaii. I'm here today in opposition of HB 1636 on behalf of the retailers across the state. If I could offer a couple of key points why we are in opposition. We have provided written testimony. But a couple of key points, shopping carts taken off property, our retailers see this as not abandonment, but they are stolen. Once a cart is stolen, the business no longer has control of that property. Many retailers already invest in retrieval services, and anti-theft measures, but not all carts can be recovered safely or even realistically. HB 1636 would penalize the business twice. First through theft, and then through fines or fees when stolen carts are found elsewhere. Shopping carts are actually really expensive here in Hawaii. They have to be shipped here. We have tariffs. There's issues with even sourcing them. And replacing stolen carts is already a real cost of doing business for retailers. Additional fines or impoundment fees place an unfair burden on small and local retailers. And these added costs may lead to actually reducing the amount of carts, which is difficult for our shoppers. And lastly, I'd just like to say, if the intent of this bill is to address the nuisance or improper disposal, enforcement should focus on the individuals who steal or misuse carts and not on the business that are already victims. For these reasons, Retail Merchants of Hawaii respectively asks that HB 1636 be held. And thank you very much for the opportunity to offer this testimony.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak on this measure? Okay, thank you. We'll move then to HB 1810 relating to charitable solicitation. We have testimony from the AG.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and the members of the committee. My name is Eunice Park, Charities Program Administrator. And our department offered comments. One, we were asking for delayed effective date to January 1, 2027, because if this bill is adopted, we need to make system changes to accommodate new reporting requirements, as well as the appropriation, which will be coming from the Charity Special Fund, for additional possible staffing so that we can enforce this new requirements. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jody Robinson from Hano. Okay, that was in support. Katie Chan from Goodwill Hawaii.
Hello, my name is Katie Chan. I'm the president and CEO of Goodwill Hawaii. Goodwill Hawaii is a nonprofit that was founded in 1959. We are an independent nonprofit that has supported the Hawaii community statewide since 1959, and we provide job placement, job training, job education services for many disadvantaged populations statewide. We operate many accepting locations across the state, as well as our community stores. And this, we're standing here strongly in support of HB 1810. This is about community trust. Right now, what we see is there has been a dramatic increase just in the last couple of years of placement of donation bins. They're publicly categorized as donation bins that are being operated by for-profit companies. Goodwill Hawaii itself has seen a drop in its level of donations for 3 consecutive years, to no small part of these donation bins that appear to be benefiting the community, but are not to the full extent that the community understands. Right now, when people go up there to donate to these community bins, they think that they are providing a fully tax deductible contribution that will benefit the local community. That is absolutely not the case. So these collected donations, the donor is not getting a full tax deductible amount, because the charity that is supposedly benefiting from it is just getting pennies on the dollar, as to they're getting paid pennies per pound for those collected donations, as opposed to when you donate to Goodwill, the donated good is 100% benefiting our charitable purpose. So this is very different, and often they also are donating to these for-profit collection sites, thinking that it will be sold locally. That's also not the case. These items are often being collected and not benefiting the local community, being shipped off island. And so we're here to ask that this bill be passed to hold these for-profit professional fundraising solicitors accountable for what they collect. It should be transparent so the community understands when they are giving to these donation bins, what is exactly happening to their donations and what can they expect to as a reasonable tax deduction. It's amending an existing law that has been around for a very, very long time, and it's just providing clarity to what the laws stand now with regards to what professional fundraising solicitors in this state need to comply by. So thank you, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. We also have testimony from Tyler Crochet from Big Brothers Big Sisters, Michelle Bartel from Aloha United Way, Maile Kawamura from National Kidney Foundation Hawaii, and Mike Onofrieri, all in support. Would anyone else like to testify on this measure? Okay, thank you very much. That was 1810. Now we're going to move to HB 1782 relating to artificial intelligence for the protection of minors. First testifier is from Raji Tolentino, enforcement attorney from DCCA Office of Consumer Protection.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Raji Tolentino on behalf of OCP. We will stand in support of this bill. If you have any questions, I'll be available.
Thank you very much. Next testifier is Superintendent Hayashi from the Department of Education.
This is Sakurai, the department stands on.
Thank you very much. And then we have Ashley Tanaka from the AG's office.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Deputy Attorney General Ashley Tanaka. The department supports the intent of this bill as we share the legislature's concern for the potential impact that artificial intelligence has on the mental health as well as the development of our state's youth. And we also believe that there is a very strong government interest in protecting Hawaii's youth from manipulative or unsafe or deceptive practices of artificial intelligence systems. We did provide comments that we have began discussions with the Office of Consumer Protection about potentially sharing jurisdiction over enforcement of this new part. We also added that we are considering whether appropriations and additional positions would be required to enforce this part. Lastly, we believe that it would be more appropriate to insert this into Chapter 481B rather than Chapter 28 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes, as this is a consumer protection bill, and having it in Chapter 481B would provide for broader enforcement. Thank you, and I am available for questions.
Thank you very much. Dr. Trina Orimoto, OWR.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. The Office of Wellness and Resilience stands on our written testimony and support and are available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Tommy Noyes from Friends of Kamalani and Lidgate Park, Ava Smithing from Young People's Alliance, and Tina Andrade from Catholic Charities have all submitted testimony in support. We have Pierce Young from Civic Nexus.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Pierce Young. I work at a technology firm that does government relations stuff. Basically, we use AI, and I was just providing comments saying that you should consider modifying the definition of provider here. The definition of provider as written would encompass a lot of businesses who just want to simply implement a chatbot, which is hosted, and the main technology is hosted by a larger provider who has the resources to provide these kinds of protections. Whereas small companies who want to improve services, small businesses who want to improve services won't necessarily have the resources to keep up with the monitoring of all of the safety and safeguards. The safeguards we think are great, but in general, just the definition of who's responsible for providing that we think is a little bit overly broad. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Chris Caulfield, Imua Alliance, and JB Branch from Public Citizen, all in support. Dave Erdman, Retail Merchants of Hawaii in person, in support.
Good morning again, Chair Iligan, Vice Chair Hussey, and the members of the committee. And my name is Dave Erdman. I'm with the Retail Merchants of Hawaii. RMH supports the intent of HB 1782 to protect minors from harmful or inappropriate uses of artificial intelligence, which we see as very important and appreciate the legislature's leadership on this issue. We do have concerns with the scope of the bill as currently drafted. The definition of conversational artificial intelligence service is very broad and could unintentionally include basic customer service tools that retailers use every day. Things like bots that answer store hours, track orders, or schedule appointments. These are tools not designed to interact with minors in the way the bill is trying to address, and they are not the bad actors this legislation is aimed at. We believe the bill can be strengthened by narrowing the definition so it clearly targets harmful AI applications without creating unintended impacts on responsible retailers. We've provided written testimony, and we look forward to getting more information from our members as requested, and we'll return to the committee with some potential constructive language that supports the bill's goals. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Okay, Malia Suchia from HCAN speaks. In support, David Miyashiro from Hawaii Kids Can in support. Osa Tui from HSTA in support.
Aloha, Chair and Vice Chair. I'm Sarah Miliantalafan on behalf of Osa Tui Jr. and the Hawaii State Teachers Association. This legislative session, I have the honor of being your teacher lobbyist. So one teacher every year is let out of the classroom to come talk to you about what it is as a practitioner that we see. So honoring your time, we stand on our written testimony and also are always available for questions. But I did bring you two stories from my classroom. I'm a computer science teacher, so I see this stuff in real time. And so when we talk about what we're dealing with, I teach middle school. And middle school is so beautiful because kids are becoming in real time who they are. And one of the things they're very preoccupied is getting a girlfriend, getting a boyfriend. And so one of my boys came in and said, "Miss, like I'm not messing with girls anymore. I have the best AI girlfriend ever." And it seems wholesome, it seems sweet, but the messy communication of being human is how we become who we are. And I also don't think a lot of our families always understand what they're dealing with in this space. Another group that I work with after school, for many years I've supported LGBTQ youth in an after school club. And some of them have used AI therapist bots in lieu of actually getting counsel or therapy, and they feel that the bots understand them better than our school counselors do. And so I had one student over break who practiced coming out to the therapy bot, and of course the bot was programmed to be supportive, and it was very supportive of his work, of what he had shared, but he didn't get the same support and was pretty devastated when his family didn't support the same way. So we just really have to understand that these are things happening in real time to our students, and the technology is changing so quickly that even teachers can't keep up to support our kids and support our families. So thank you, we support this measure.
Thank you. Robert Boykin from TechNet in opposition. Okay, Lorna Holmes, Christopher LaChica, Ana Tuia Sosopo, Charmaine Doran, Allison B., Will Carone, Ronald Tran, Kaleo K., Rita Kamakimura, Susan Piccola Davis, Anya Neville, all in support. Lourdes Vigara Marcelo and Alana Nicole Dooley in support. Justin Lai from La Pietra in support. And then Jay Franzone. Is Jay in the room? Okay, in support. And Ted Meehan in support. Would anyone else like to testify on this measure? Okay, very good, thank you. We're gonna move now to HB 1759 relating to theft. First up, we have Carlota Amarino offering comments. Haley Cheng from the Public Defender's Office.
Hi. Good morning, Chair and Vice Chair and members of the committee. This is not a committee that the Office of the Public Defender appears in front of very often, so I briefly just wanted to introduce myself as well as hope to inform the committee about the mission of our office. The Office of the Public Defender provides indigent criminal defense statewide. So our attorneys are in the courts daily at all levels, and we represent our clients on all criminal matters ranging from petty misdemeanors all the way to the most serious felonies. I myself have been a practicing defense attorney for almost 20 years. So that is just some of the background of our office and the position that we come forward with in offering our opposition to this measure. First and foremost, the The Public Defender's Office sometimes gets the bad reputation of people believing that we are pro-crime or that we support crime. That's absolutely not the case. What we are in the business of is providing constitutional representation to those who are charged with crimes. And as part of that, what we do is we evaluate criminal bills. We look for things to make sure that those bills are constitutional. And I think that's really where we're coming from in terms of our opposition. A lot of our arguments are outlined in our written testimony, but mainly I want to highlight for this committee. We recognize and understand the issues related to theft and what I believe this committee is characterizing as organized retail theft. I first want to lead with the portion of our testimony that does not oppose the creation of a task force. But as we stated, we believe our office and another criminal defense practitioner should be included. The way that the bill is drafted, it is all law enforcement and prosecuting agencies, and there is no one to provide additional insight into the real life application of these crimes and the representation of individuals who may be charged with such an offense. So that is our comment for that portion of the bill. Secondly, we'd ask this committee to recognize that there are so many laws already on the books to address this situation. The conspiracy laws, accomplice liability, even charging people as co-defendants. I'd also ask this committee to become very educated on what it means to create new felony offenses and what that does for the infrastructure of our criminal system. A felony offense at a minimum requires, as the law is written right now, a 4-year term of probation at a minimum. It can lead, and as the bill is drafted, we're asking for elevated penalties for certain actors, which could lead to a Class A felony. As the law is written right now, a Class A felony, if a B is amped up to an A, is a mandatory open 20-year term of incarceration. So I'd ask the committee to think about that. An open year 20 term of incarceration, I think what this bill might be responsive to is some of the things that we've seen in the news. Children, juveniles, and young adults, 18 years old, 19 years old, getting charged or accused of committing like offenses. I'd ask the committee to think about what it means when we already have laws to address these criminal acts, to create an offense that could potentially put an 18-year-old or 19-year-old in prison for up to 20 years without the possibility of court supervision, meaning probation. So I believe our other comments are articulated. I think the bill is, in theory, trying to be responsive to something that we see as a community issue, but there are measures on the books to do that already. And we also worry about the constitutional challenges to a lot of the overly broad language that for sure us as defense attorneys will challenge, which could compromise the veracity of the intent of the bill. Thank you, and I will remain available for questions.
Thank you very much. My prosecutor's office. Okay. Daniel Hugo from the City and County of Honolulu. Prosecutor.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Daniel Hugo for the Honolulu Prosecutor's Office. We're in support of this bill with our recommended amendments. First, I want to start by acknowledging the scope of the problem. As we point out in our written testimony, Hawaii per capita retail losses are 567% of the average of other states. Shocking statistic. You can also look to the testimony from other constituents who have written in support of this bill and who at least see the scale of the theft problem. Or you can take a walk 2 blocks down here to Fort Street Mall. I'm going to show my age here. Does anyone remember the Liberty House that used to be there? Yeah. When I was a kid, that was like the crown jewel of downtown. It's not there anymore. It became Macy's, then it became Walmart, and became empty. And there are a lot of empty shops around there. Walgreens has left, and so has Ross, and so has the Longs. And if you talk to the merchants and you talk to customers, they'll tell you that one big problem was losses from theft, from just rampant theft. This is not a isolated problem of individual shoplifters. This is organized crime. We point out also in our testimony to a great New Yorker article from 2024 that goes through how organized retail theft plays out in Los Angeles and the ties that many of these organizations have to much more serious forms of crime, terrorism, and corruption. the incentives at present for prosecuting organized crime are not immediately there. In order to prosecute most organized crime, what you need is cooperation from people who have been participants in crime. And there's not a lot of incentive on their side to cooperate, and there's not a lot of incentive on our side to offer cooperation agreements because thieves make some of the worst witnesses that you can put up in court, and you have to extensively corroborate any information that you get from them, and that requires a significant investment of law enforcement resources. And so the proposed changes to the bill that we offer here are built on our successful use of the habitual property offender law. We believe that at the lowest level, you should be looking at penalties that are similar to those for habitual property offenders. And when you are looking at leaders, organizers, supervisors, you should be looking at very stiff penalties for these very sophisticated operations. The habitual property offender law, again, as I said, is one that we've successfully used. Just recently, we got a conviction at jury trial using the habitual property offender law. So our recommendation to this committee is to build on those theft statutes. And I think it's also important that in creating this, you create a measure that distinguishes organized retail theft from ordinary shoplifters. And so we would say preserve the current theft offenses and focus on creating something that is distinct and that is tailored to the organized nature of this crime. I'm available for questions if the committee has any.
Thank you. Lauren Zerbel from the HFIA.
Good morning again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Alexis Chapman for HFIA. We're in support of this measure. This is an issue that has been getting worse and worse for the last several years. It is a type of organized crime. There have been federal reports on how bad it is, specifically in Hawaii, dating back to 2022. So we definitely think that this is a step in the right direction to distinguish this, as the previous testifier said, from just ordinary shoplifting, since it is a vastly different, much more costly, much more dangerous type of crime. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Kings Oahu, Margaret Vesnevsky. In support. Jean-Paul Gideon, JPG Hawaii. In support. Dave Erdman from Retail Merchants.
Aloha again, Chair Iligan, Vice Chair Hussey, and members of the committee. Thank you very much for the opportunity to testify today. Retail Merchants of Hawaii is in support of Bill 1750 and really appreciates the legislature's focus on addressing organized retail theft, which is increasing concern for retailers across our state. I have a few key points and then I'll wrap up. Organized theft today is very different, as was mentioned, than shoplifting. It involves repeat offenders, fencing operations, and online resale and online marketplaces. It also creates a real safety risk for retail employees and our customers. We support the idea of a statewide task force. Coordination is important, and retailers want to make sure that the work leads to real enforcement and real outcomes, not just reports. One issue retailers see is many theft rings don't have people stealing together in a store. It could be one person who steals and someone else who sells it later. They're clearly working together, just not side by side. We want the law to reflect how these crimes actually happen today. Another concern is repeat thefts spread out over time and across locations. Individually, they may look small, but actually it's part of a network. And they add up to significant losses and ongoing safety issues. Finally, when theft invades or involves threats and intimidation, it's no longer just a property crime, it becomes a workplace safety issues. And retailers strongly support stronger consequences in these situations. In closing, Retail Merchants strongly supports this bill. We're available for questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Michael Kitchens from Solon Stuff Hawaii. In support. Mufi Hanneman from Hawaii Lodging and Tourism Association. In support. Sherry Menor from Chamber of Commerce.
Hello, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Julian Kiabu testifying on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, and we are in support of this bill, standing on our written testimony.
Thank you. B.A. McClintock in support. Glenn Kagamita in support. Cindy Ajimine in support on Zoom. All right. Vernell Oku, Mary Lynn Sakamoto, John Pang, Catherine Colado, Carol Kamai, Susan Duffy, Katya Bahema, Edna Quito, Sheila Medeiros, Lisa Bishop, Salvador Quezadas, Monique Pereira. All in support is Monique in the room? Okay. Jamie Detweiler, Andrew Chen, Peggy Regentine, L.K. Ewan, Lynette Honda, Lester Nip, Lorraine Nip, all in support. Angela Young on Zoom.
Aloha, Angela Young, from Neighborhood Security Walk, Kapalama, and testifying in strong support. The retail theft task force or laws specifically targeting organized retail crime has been enacted in 30 states. New York has frequent theft that happens, including theft of milk and food for babies, and high-priced food items like steak and shrimp. And in Virginia, it was enacted in 2023, something that criminalizes organized retail theft and has resulted in high-profile convictions. Hawaii has a unique problem, which is the space for inmates. So I agree with the county's defense that testified, also to consider like young adults with offenses and putting more people in jails, that you're going to be utilizing jail space if you try to maximize the penalties to get more criminals to put into jail. So I think perhaps there can be more focus on creating the task force to help with clarifying amendments for penalties to first congregate and gather the county's prosecuting attorneys and then also nonprofits that can provide advice. So we didn't see and also grassroots movements such as Neighborhood Security Watch and Citizens Patrol. This way you can gather data, coordination with teams can provide the data and then customize the legislation to Hawaii, and it empowers nonprofits to actively lead, and it helps to reduce financial burdens and law enforcement resources. When you create the task force or put into statute to empower nonprofits and grassroots movements to help you build the legislation. And so, oftentimes there is that skipping of a step where I don't think many of the people who make the laws talk to the people who are working at the bottom in Neighborhood Security Walk, because we notice a lot of things. We have kids who walk with us from schools, and it's crucial for advising legislation to work with Neighborhood Security Walk because it provides real-time ground level data and community insights to improve the lives of the citizens and to improve public safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, we have testimony from Mary Smart, Eileen McGovern, and Kim Santos, all in support. Would anyone else like to testify this morning? Okay, thank you. We're moving to the last bill, HB 1798, relating to property damage of critical infrastructure facilities. First testifier is from the Office of Public Defender.
Good morning again, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Again, Haley Chang, First Deputy of the Office of the Public Defender. I think we've outlined our arguments fairly clearly. We'd asked the committee to take a close look at especially some of the footnotes that we have highlighted. We definitely foresee a constitutional challenge to the vagueness of this bill, especially for the definition of damage. Also want to highlight that criminal property damage traditionally has been tiered and characterized by monetary amounts of damage. So for this bill, as we have highlighted in our written testimony, is the intent of this committee that if someone commits $1 worth of damage to something defined as a critical infrastructure, that that person should be charged with a Class C felony. If that is the intent, that's fine, but I'm just highlighting that as a disparity amongst the way that other criminal property damage offenses are outlined in our penal code. We also, just as a footnote, want to mention, as we are going to be mentioning throughout the session, every single time a committee or the legislature passes a new crime, that is an individual who could potentially be charged and will need representation. The Office of the Public Defender is in charge of representing a majority of criminal defendants in the state, and we are at our max capacity. So we'd ask, as a co-occurring issue, that if this committee is incentivized and is going to continue to try to increase the criminal penalties or create new criminal offenses, that you be mindful of the representation that these people are constitutionally entitled to receive, that our office is mandated to represent those, and that we also will need more help and support and resources in order to do that effectively. So thank you, and I'll remain available for questions.
Thank you. Okay, Maui Department of the Prosecuting Attorney. Let's see, we have Daniel Hugo from the City County of Honolulu, Department of Prosecuting Attorney.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Daniel Hugo from the Honolulu Prosecutor's Office. Our office offered comment on this bill. The first thing that we should note is that 708-890, which is the subsection that's cross-section for critical infrastructure, also includes a definition of damage. But that comes from the computer damage statute, so it's aimed at damage to data. If more generally the committee was thinking of damage in the way that criminal property damage is, just general damage to critical infrastructure, there is an offense called criminal tampering, which does focus on certain types of interference with utility services. That currently is a misdemeanor. The committee may want to consider taking a look at that offense, and if it's intending to look at a broader version of damage. Otherwise, the computer damage statute would be the one to look at.
Okay, thank you. Rebecca Lieberman from Charter Communications.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Rebecca Lieberman with Charter Communications. I stand on my written testimony in strong support and am available for questions. Mahalo.
Jeremy Crandall, CTIA. Janine Suki from Hawaiian Telecom.
Aloha, Chair Iligan, Vice Chair Hussey, and members of the committee. My name is Janine Suki. I'm with Hawaiian Telecom, and we too stand in strong support of this bill. Available for any questions. Thank you.
Thanks. Glenn Kagabita in support. Any other testifiers on this measure? Okay, thanks. We're going to go now into questions from the committee. Stepping back through the agenda. Okay, we're going to close out testimony and we're going to go into recess.
Hello, members. Thank you for your patience as we had taken a recess. Now we are back in our hearing. We're gonna start off at the top of the agenda. We have HB 1829, and we also have HB 1615. The subject matter is very similar on those two. So we're going to first start off, actually.
I do.
We're gonna start off with HB 1829. Members, do you have any questions regarding this measure? All right. I just want to let everybody know that I believe these two measures with HB 1829 and HB 1615 are very similar. We're going to actually merge the two. So does anyone have any discussions regarding HB 1615? Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to defer HB 1829, and what I will do is insert language from HB 1829 into HB 1615. So with HB 1615, we're going to include the language declares the state is an ocean cluster. We'll also establish the Office of Marines Affairs under HCDC. Transfers functions of the Governor's Advisory Committee on Marines Affairs to the Office of Marines Affairs and establish the Marines Affairs Task Force. The Marines Affairs Task Force shall include another representative from the UH system, which is the Dean of the Aquaculture degree or designee in UH Hilo. We will also amend the language to require the Office of Marines Affairs rather than HTDC to procure the services of consultant to support the declaration of intent of the Office of the Marines Affairs. We will remove the language and instead add into the committee notes the $500K appropriation for consultant services and $150K for the one full-time FTE for the Marine Affairs Coordinator position. This bill now becomes an established policy framework for Marines Affairs without any financial impact on the budget. We will defect the date to 3,000, and we will also make any technical, no substantive amendments for the purpose of clarity, consistency, and style. Any questions on the amendments? All right, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
Okay. So we are deferring HB 1829.
Sorry, I deferred, you don't have to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So we're now actually 1615 now. Correct. Okay. Okay, so we're passing out an HD1 for 1615.
With amendments.
With amendments, yes, HD1. So Chair votes aye. Vice Chair votes aye. Representative, Representative Holt?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Representative Tam?
Aye.
Thank you. Representative Templo?
Aye.
Representative Yamashita?
Aye.
Representative Gedeon?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Chair, the measure passes HD1.
Thank you. We are now moving on to HB 1613. And members, are there any discussions regarding HB 1613? All right. Members, there's going to be some amendments for this. What we want to do is to further the justification of the two full-time positions. We're going to reference HCR 156-2025 in supporting advanced manufacturing and cybersecurity for our state. Also, to further develop our workforce for advanced manufacturing and cybersecurity, the House passed HR 67-2025 to coordinate with the Department of Education and the University of Hawaii to establish a workforce pipeline and curriculum in advanced manufacturing and cybersecurity. We will also blank out two FTEs and two appropriations of $100K each and add them to the committee notes. We will defect the date to 3,000 and also any technical, non-substantive amendments for the purpose of clarity, consistency, and style. Any questions on the amendments? All right, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Any votes in opposition? Chair, your measure passes as amended.
Thank you. For HB 1607 and HB 1772, we're gonna work further into making sure that we have a great program for our small businesses. And we're going to defer these at a later date for decision making. We have some questions and we want to figure out how to best make a bill that's great for small businesses. So at this time, HB 1607 and HB 1772 will be deferred at a later date for decision making. We're going to move on to HB 1636. Members, do we have any questions regarding HB 1636? All right. For HB 1636, I have some amendments. What we want to do is make sure that the county is able to impound these shopping carts, but we also want to protect the food establishments that we have throughout the state. So we're going to add some language to authorize the county to establish a policy for managing and impounding shopping carts that have been vandalized or no longer display an owner's identifying mark. That way, the county is able to create some policy for those carts that had identification but no longer. A business establishment shall not be assessed any costs or fines by the county for shopping carts removed from its premises without the establishment's permission and later impounded by the county. This will ensure that those stolen carts are not assessed back to the establishment. We also want to add language that the county shall implement a buyback program for impounded shopping carts. The owner may recover an impounded cart upon payment of a buyback fee without any fines. That includes impoundment costs and program operating costs. We will also defect the date to 3,000 and any technical no substantive amendments for the purpose of clarity, consistency, and style. Any questions on the amendments?
Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, so I will support your recommendation. I just want to note that this may be an unfunded mandate to the county, and also there's no testifiers in support too, so that's a little concerning. But I will support your decision.
Thank you. All right, Vice Chair.
Okay.
Please take the vote.
Recommendations passed with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Any votes with reservations? Any votes in opposition? Okay. Your measure passes as amended.
Thank you. We are now on HB 1810. Members, are there any questions regarding HB 1810? I have some amendments for HB 1810, and what we want to do is we're going to clarify some things. We want to add language requiring collection bins or containers to visibly display a sign stating by percentage how much of the donated property or items is donated to the charitable organizations. We want to also move all the language from 467B-9, Section P to 467B-2.5 for the purpose of clarity and consistency. All the existing language in the bill still remains the same in its intention. We also will add amendment from the AG on the effective date of January 1st, 2027. We will also add into the committee notes that the AG is requesting additional staffing and resources to address increased reporting and review and enforcement workload. We will defect the date to 3,000 and any technical non-substantive amendments for the purpose of clarity, consistency, and style.
Okay.
Any questions regarding amendments? All right, Vice Chair, please take the vote.
Okay, motions, recommendations passed with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Any votes with reservations? Any opposition? Okay, hearing none, Chair, your recommendation passes.
Thank you.
Or is adopted.
For HB 1782, there is some work that we need to do for this bill. And there's also some AI bills that we want to hear. So we will defer this a later date for decision making. We are now moving on to HB 1759. And I wanted to ask the members, do you have any questions regarding this bill? All right. We're gonna do one amendment on this bill. We'll defect the date to 3,000 and move it as is. Vice Chair, please take the vote
Okay.
with the bill with amendments.
Okay. Recommendation is passed with amendments. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Any votes in opposition? Any votes with reservations? Okay, Chair, the recommendation passes or is adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to our last bill, we have HB 1798. There are some amendments I want to make on this bill, but before we pass it out, I do want to figure out what we could do with the damages. And I need some time to work on it. So we will defer this bill at a later date for decision making. All right, members, thank you for your engagement and participation, and we are now adjourned.